Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Getaway Day. This is episode 14. I am Mason, he is Gautham, and let's get into it. So, right at the top, I want to remind everybody we do have a giveaway going on where we're giving away... I really should have brought him to my desk. I've got him over there. We've got a 2020 Top Series 1 Luis Robert rookie card, so his flagship rookie card. The 2021 Joe Adell flagship rookie card from Series 1. Series 2 Luis Robert, Series 1 Joe Adell, and then a 2020 Panini Elite Extra Edition Will Klein Auto, and then potentially some other cards. If you go to our Twitter and our Facebook, I've been sharing them a couple extra times, just trying to keep reminding people it's there. All you got to do is follow us on either Twitter or Facebook and comment on the post and tell us your favorite team and your favorite player of all time. They don't have to be. They don't have to match. I did get a Cleveland Indians Jimmy Rollins, and you may or may not get a couple cards of either your favorite player or team, depending on what I've got. So definitely join that. I think right now we're at like 8 entries, so your odds are really, really good for a giveaway at least. Yeah, so that's running until the 4th of July, and then we will do a random drawing of everyone that's entered there. Then I will reach out to you via DM on Twitter or Facebook, whatever you entered on. Get your mailing address, send you the cards, and then all you got to do after that is hopefully share a picture on your account with us whenever you get the cards. So, see, now that that is out of the way, I obviously was on vacation last week, so Gautham had Matthew with him last week, and they talked about the American League kind of coming into the trade deadline. So, Gautham, what did I miss? What's happened since then? What did you do this weekend? Just fill me in. I'm a little bit out of touch.
It was a big weekend for baseball, I think, and week, I guess, with the first week of the sticky stuff enforcement starting on last Monday, and the Cubs pitched a no-hitter, probably one of the most unlikely no-hitters that we've seen. It was started by Zach Davies. He had about 5 walks in this game, and it was finished up by 3 relievers, Ryan Tepera, Andrew Chafin, and Craig Kimbrell. My favorite part about this no-hitter was that Kimbrell didn't even realize that it was a no-hitter. So they finished the game, they won 4-0, and he didn't really have much reaction. It wasn't a super close game in terms of the score. And then Wilson Contreras, the catcher, is jumping up and down, and Ryan Tepera runs out there and tells him like what happened, and then he's like, "Oh," and then he kind of reacts, and it's a pretty funny moment.
So, if I remember right, that was the 17th no-hitter in Cubs history, and the first one that was a combined no-hitter.
That is correct. Yeah.
So they've managed to go 16 complete game shutout no-hitters.
Yeah.
And this is the very first time that it's ever taken them more than one pitcher. Cubs suck.
Correct.
Can't even
that's
do it.
That's actually quite a few. That's quite a few no-hitters. That's more than the Cardinals have in their history.
Dude, I mean, like 2 is more than the Cardinals have in their history. That's a lie. I think it's like 6 or something. I don't know.
The no-hitter's still never going to stop impressing me, though, whether it's a combined one or just one man doing the job, but there's only been 312 of them.
Well, and it was against the Dodgers.
Yeah, that's a good team.
Yeah, it's
too,
like,
so that's
how?
Better. Because all the other 6 no-hitters this season have come against some of the worst teams in the league, like Cleveland, Seattle, so Texas, yeah. I think. So this one was kind of out of nowhere, especially considering that Davies walked 5 batters, which was a career high. So I was watching this game from the start, and I didn't even realize myself it was a no-hitter until about the 5th inning, because there was so much base running traffic, and it didn't really feel like a no-hitter.
Yeah. So just to for comparison. So the Cubs have the 17 no-hitters. The Cardinals only have 10 in their history. The last one being Bud Smith in 2001 against the Padres. I was actually I obviously didn't watch the game. I don't remember what day that was. I might have been on the plane.
That was Thursday night.
Thursday night. Okay, so I was back home, but yeah, I just didn't watch it because I hate the Cubs.
And the Dodgers, so there you go.
And the Dodgers, yeah, they're my two most hated team. My two most hated teams, and then a close third is the Yankees, and then a close fourth is the San Francisco Giants. But yeah, well, that'd be a good top 5. Although I just did it, so I guess that
you just spoiled it. Yeah.
Hey, I didn't tell you number 5.
Okay.
Yeah. No, so I didn't watch it, but I was actually pretty impressed whenever I heard that the Friday. But all right, what else did I miss?
So I wanted to make note of a very talked about player, especially in New York, and that's Gary Sanchez. So Gary starts this season, March and April. He's hitting 190. He's got 2 home runs. Yankees fans are saying, typical Gary, doing nothing, no power, can't hit for average. This guy's a terrible catcher. And then he actually lost his job for a stretch there, and Kyle Higashioka was getting more of the starts for a stretch. And then in May, he hits 213, hits 4 home runs. In June, he's hit 296 with 7 home runs to bring his season line to 237, 347 OBP, 489 slugging, and a 128 WRC plus. So Gary Sanchez is actually having a really solid year, and I don't think Yankees fans maybe want to admit it because they like to make Gary the GOAT and not greatest of all time, like the scapegoat.
Well, and the thing is, Yankees fans are very hard to pinpoint how they feel because, like, when Gary's doing bad, they let you know, and
Exactly.
when Gary's doing good, they're like, "See, I told you you'd come around," and then they always go back and forth. And I saw a Twitter exchange the other day. I think it might have been on Ben Verlander's Twitter. He said something about Gary Sanchez, and the first response was like, yeah, I'm a Yankees fan, and as much as this like hurts me that you're saying this, it's 100% true. It's like I do the exact same thing. He's awesome when he's hot, and then he's the worst thing in the world. New York is a rough place to play. Like, I mean, it's exactly what I was saying. I don't remember if I ever talked about it on the podcast, but like Sonny Gray when he was in New York. That's kind of why I think Sonny Gray didn't work out in New York, is because everyone there is, you do something good, they're like, yay, you did something good. That's what we expected. We're not gonna shower you with ovation and flower petals and champagne and whatever. We're just gonna say you did what you were supposed to. Great. And then if you have a bad game, they're never gonna let you hear the end of it. So the fact that Gary is still there and still like going through his cycles of being amazing, kind of impressed.
Yeah, it's got to take a lot of mental toughness to beat all the negativity that he has, because I feel like it's even at a higher level for Gary than other Yankees players, which is pretty high.
I would argue Stanton is maybe about the same, but for different reasons.
Right. His is more staying healthy and his big contract and everything like that. But...
yeah. Whereas Gary doesn't have the huge contract and he's healthy. He just looks like Chris Bryant playing through an injury a lot of the time.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah. But I don't know. It'll be it'll be interesting to see kind of how the rest of the season plays out for him, and if Higashioka gets more playing time again, because he kind of cooled off too. So and
he hasn't really played that well as he did last year. So,
and I will admit, some of the fan reaction to Gary is a little bit deserved. He's not a great defensive catcher.
No, not at all.
At all? Yeah. Wait. Did Schwarber just hit another home run?
Did he?
I think he might have.
Wow.
Oh,
What a home run race we have on our hands this year.
yeah. Let's.
Otani and Vlad.
I was gonna say
Otani and Vlad, 26 home runs, top
Otani,
of the
Vlad,
board.
Tatis is at 25.
He's got 25 after he hit 3 in one game over the weekend in his first 3 at bats.
To tie it at the top, and then Vladdy said no, went and hit
Yeah.
another. So
And then we've got Schwarber here, not too far behind, whether he has 23 or 24. But it's going to be a very fun race, I think, all the way through. And we can't forget about Ronald Acuna, Matt Olson.
Jesse Winker, I think, is still up there, isn't he?
Yeah, he's pretty close to the top.
I mean, so. Adolis Garcia's at 20. Like, I'm really curious to see if we get any 50 home run guys this year.
Yeah, I think we have a shot at it for sure. Oh,
all right. Vlad 26, Otani 26. Thank you, Matthew. Fernando 25, Schwarber 24, Acuna 21, Olsen 20, Adolis 20. Hey Matt, where was Jesse Winker on that list? Was he at like 19 or is he tied at 20? I need to make that font a little bit smaller so you can see that whole thing. Oh, Winker's only at 18. All right. That took that one off the screen. All right, we'll see if that's appropriate size. Yeah, no, the home run race is insane though. And then so Otani hit 2 home runs the night that he announced he's going to be in the home run derby. And then I think
and Tatis hit 3 home runs the night he announced he wouldn't be in the home run derby.
Yeah. And then let's see. So Vlad's not in the home run derby. I guess it's probably easier. Do we know who is? So it's Shohei.
Yeah, we only have 4 guys confirmed at this
Trevor
point.
Story today was confirmed.
Trevor Story today, Trey Mancini, Otani, and Pete Alonso, the reigning champion.
Polar Bear. Yes, sir. Yes. That'll be fun. Because I think it was it Vladdy and Pete that were going back and forth in 2019.
Yeah, that was the championship round there in the last derby.
Yeah, I really wish Vladdy would have done it again this year, but oh well. He's given us a show in the regular games, so I think I'll take that over the home run derby any day. All right, so that's the hitters that are going off. There's a pitcher that I want you to tell me a little bit about here. Phillies, Aaron Nola. What did he do?
Yeah, so Nola's last start, the first base runner of the game got on base. I don't remember if it was a walk or a hit. Then Nola proceeds to strike out the next 10 batters he faces to tie Tom Seaver's record, which is not been matched by any other player. The Phillies didn't really seem to care about it that much. No one was really doing anything. They had to tell him to take the ball out of play, so I'm not sure how meaningful it was to him, but for me, that's a really cool record that was matched. And it got me thinking because it was the first game of a 7-inning doubleheader set. If he had kept up his strikeout pace in that game, I don't know what he ended up with, but it would have been very difficult for him to get to a 20 strikeouts. Potentially.
Yeah. So I guess, do you think that the Kerry Wood 21 strikeout, 21? 20.
That was just 20 strikeouts.
20? Is that nearly unbreakable record at this point?
Well, that record was actually broken by Max Scherzer a few years ago when he had 21.
It was?
Yeah.
How did I miss that? It seems like a big deal.
Yeah, that was a big one.
Huh.
But no, I don't think that that's an unbreakable record.
Actually, that's a good point.
Considering where we are with strikeouts in today's game. So, but we never would have had a chance to see it in this game. Not that he was that close to 20 or anything, but that's part of the reason why 7-inning doubleheaders don't appeal to me, because I feel like they're taking away from some statistical achievements that can be reached, but now they can't.
Yeah, there's a lot of things against the 7 inning doubleheader, and for a while I was on board with it, and for there's parts of it I still enjoy, but I don't know. The more I think about it, the more I'm starting to turn against 7 inning doubleheaders. So it kind of seems like a cheap way to. Honestly, it just kind of seems like a money grab by MLB. To be honest, is you're making the same amount of money on the tickets, fans are getting less baseball. There's not really there's records that can't be broken, statistics you're not going to get. It just kind of seems like it would be better for everyone involved, other than maybe Major League Baseball, if they played just 9 innings.
Yeah, I think it sort of takes away from the strategy of the game too, because I mean it's a different strategy, but it's not the same 9 inning strategy because you don't have to worry about your bullpen as much and other things like that.
Uh, Question: which game was it? That was it. The 25th, Nola's game
I don't think it was the 25th,
against the
but it was
Mets.
against it was definitely against the Mets. Yeah.
Yeah, so he finished with only 12 Ks in
Okay. Yeah.
5 innings. So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, no, I kind of, it's a little bit off topic, so I'll just mention it real quick and then we'll kind of skip through. But I kind of almost think that maybe we should think about either shortening. Well, you can't really shorten anything. Basically, shortening the schedule back to 156 games and then just leaving extra off days to make up games instead of having
Yeah.
double headers.
I'm
Like
actually on board with that, having a 154 game schedule like they used to.
154, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that would be a smart thing to do and just space those off days throughout the 6 months. Just keep everyone fresher, and you don't have to worry about things like 7 inning doubleheaders. Hopefully in the future.
Yeah. And keep it in a 180 day window like it is now, but
Exactly.
154 versus 162 gives you what, 8 more days?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that makes
But,
a big difference over the grueling baseball grind.
yeah. I mean, hell, you don't see very many guys play 162.
No,
If you
not at
see a
all.
guy play 150, that's amazing. So, making them play 8 less games, they'll play 140 just with their scheduled off days, or you'll see more guys play the whole season. So, yeah. Anyway, that's off topic. So, but yeah, that is kind of what I would like to see. Um, then something that I had kind of been keeping my eye on a little bit, but obviously didn't get to watch the games much last week. The Astros just went on like was it a 10 or a 13 game win streak?
Yeah, it was 10 plus. I don't know the exact total, but yeah, they've just been rolling along and beating up on these teams left and right, scoring tons of runs every game. Uh, they're not giving up, and they've got a really good manager in charge in Dusty Baker, who, when he was hired, I saw him as the perfect guy to take over right after the cheating scandal and kind of deflect some of that blame. And he's a player's first manager, and he's always going to stick up for his guy. And he really had no reason to, because he wasn't part of the scandal at all. It's just he was the right guy to be there, and I think he's doing a really good job with the team.
Yeah, I mean Dusty has always been that guy that's gonna stand up for his guys no matter what. I mean, back in 2000 or 98 to 2003 or whatever, when he was with the Cubs, him and LaRussa just going back and forth, and like you hear like what some of those were about, and that's kind of exactly what Dusty was doing then. He did it with the Reds. He did it with the Nationals. He did it with who else is Dusty managed
The
for?
Giants.
Yeah, the Giants. He's managed for like 8 other teams, right?
Yeah, he's been all over the place. And but
Yeah.
yeah, there was one specific thing that I really like that he's done. So starting center fielder for the Astros is Miles Straw after Springer left. Miles Straw was really bad in the first couple months, but playing pretty solid defense, and obviously they have a really good lineup, so it kind of covers up his flaws. But he stuck with Miles Straw despite a lot of criticism, and now Miles Straw is doing what he kind of did in the minor leagues, which is get on base a ton, steal a bunch of bases, and he's actually hitting very well recently. So just those kind of moves make Dusty a really good manager. I feel like he has a lot of faith in all his players, and he gives them the confidence that they can achieve their potential.
Cough, cough. That's how Harrison Bader should be used by the Cardinals.
Yeah, I mean, he will when he comes back, right?
Yeah, historically he's been a little bit. They'll take him out and.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's really tough for a young player to deal with.
Granted, he's not really that young anymore, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Dusty and Dusty has never really got. He's always taken teams right to where it was going to hit the pinnacle, and then he's replaced. So Dusty has never reached that peak with a team either. So the year before, was it 2018? He was still with the Nationals, and then Davey came in as a first-year manager, or was Davey's second year when they won the series?
I want to say it was his first year.
Yeah,
but I don't remember exactly. But yeah, it's he's always had some really bad luck in the playoffs, and you can't necessarily blame it on Dusty, but that's what the teams feel like they have to do, and it's unfortunate for him. And
yeah,
it's not really his fault, in my opinion.
No, it really isn't. But there's a lot of things that can go wrong, and a manager can only make so many impacts on a game. So,
right.
Yeah. So is there anything else interesting that happened this week, or is that kind of the big stuff?
Yeah, that's we hit on a bunch of things, so that should keep us covered for now.
Actually, I did have one more. I just remembered. So real quick, as you guys have probably picked up on, I'm a big Cardinal fan.
Whoa!
What? I know, right? Let me find this tweet because I already closed it again. Yeah, so I'm a big Cardinal fan. Shocker. I got a new jersey this week. It's the powder blue Arenado, so I'm psyched. But yeah, the Cardinals have been... let's see, what's the appropriate word? God-awful. The Cardinals have been god-awful recently. You mentioned earlier Zach Davies had 5 walks in that combined no-hitter.
Yeah.
And my initial reaction was only 5 walks?
Oh, that's a
cute.
good start, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the Cardinals have one pitcher that can get through 5 innings without having like 6 or more walks, and that's Adam Wainwright. And the lineup's not really producing, and there's just a lot of stuff that we can't figure out as a team. The bullpen is struggling unless you're named Alex Reyes, Giovanni Gallegos, or Genesis Cabrera, but they're not really getting a whole lot of action because the Cardinals haven't been winning. So the Cardinals have finally said that they're going to start shaking up the rotation, and we didn't really know what that meant, but they said they were going to do it starting this week. It was announced John Gant is going back to the bullpen, where he was dominant last year. And I kind of think that him going back to the bullpen, getting a couple extra ticks on his velocity, he might actually reduce his walk rate and be really good there. Martinez is staying in the rotation for now. He's been really hit or miss. He either walks about 800 guys or he throws like a 7-inning one-hit baseball. Can't figure it out. But today the Cardinals promoted Brandon Waddle, who I believe was picked up off of waivers here the last couple weeks from Baltimore, I think. And then Roel Ramirez was also promoted. John Nagowski was DFA'd. Seth Elledge and John Woodford were... Jake Woodford were optioned down to AAA. Woodford is going to stretch out as a starter and come back up. So the Cardinals are finally starting to make some moves. It's going to be interesting to see if they can actually get a rotation that kind of has some semblance of normalcy, not allowing as many walks, not allowing as many unearned runs. Well, I guess they'd be earned runs, but undeserved runs, in my opinion. So yeah, so that's going to be interesting to see if we fix the rotation, if that ends up fixing the bullpen, and if that's the case, if the Cardinals aren't giving up 7 runs to the Pirates, then maybe the lineup can turn it around. Also, Jeff Albert is technically still the hitting coach, but players are going to Ryan Ludwig now, who's I don't think is employed by the club, and they're using him as the hitting coach. Paul DeYoung started doing that, and then he started hitting. So we'll see what happens with Jeff Albert. That's my Cardinals update. Hopefully we improve.
One other thing that made me think of with Tommy Edman kind of calling out the team for not it wasn't like a direct call out, but he was kind of saying that the hitters don't have real plans when they go up the plate. They're just kind of
winging it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So makes you wonder.
Yeah. So
and the offense has been quite bad recently.
Yeah. So Tommy said that, and then DeYoung comes out and says that he's not talking to Jeff Albert. He's talking to Ryan Ludwig. And then you have, I mean, it's not really anything about that, but you just see Nolan Arenado, his reactions in the dugout, just looking completely deflated. He's not really hitting all that well, which as much work as he puts in, something's going on there. And I really hope that Gersh and Mo take a look at that and just figure something out. I know the Cardinals have a second hitting coach, so I don't know why we're like just kind of pussyfooting around keeping Albert on the staff if we have a second hitting coach anyway. Just cut him loose and let's see if the other guy can do something here. Because if you have 2 guys teaching different philosophies, and Albert's philosophy is take the first pitch all the time and just wing it entirely other than that, well, the Cardinals are getting a lot of really good pitches to hit for the first strike because everyone knows they're not going to swing. Unless your name is Lars Nootbaar, who also debuted, and I'm a very big fan of Lars Nootbaar. But yeah, no, that was my little rant there on the Cardinals. We can always do an entire episode on the Cardinals. I'd be happy with that. You might not be, but anyway,
I think Cardinals baseball a day. You know that.
That's true. Wait, we should just sometime just pick a team and just do like a team of. Well, I guess we only do once a week. We can't do a team a week. That would be.
Maybe we can have like insane. A mini team segment or something.
Let's do it. We could always do a 5-minute timer. We'll talk about this later. Anyway, we have a couple of topics that we wanted to actually dive into a little bit more in depth today. And the first one is something we've talked about on the pod a couple times now. And that is with the Oakland A's, kind of their relocation / new Oakland Stadium saga. They have just kind of publicly released what's the word for it? Not the plan, the money sheet. Yeah, the proposal, like the monetary proposal for their new waterfront stadium down in Oakland at the
Howard Terminal.
Yeah,
which is part of the port of Oakland, where they have currently 50 plus acres that are used for shipping container storage for the port. So that is the site of this brand new, super awesome looking stadium. If you've seen some of the renderings, it's going to be 35,000 seats. And then in the surrounding area, it's going to have 3,000 housing units, 270,000 square feet of retail space, 1.5 million square feet of commercial office space, 18 acres of park / green spaces, 3 hotels, transportation links, and a performance venue. So this is no small project.
Yeah, and quick note, if you haven't seen a picture of it, if you go watch, on YouTube, episode 8, the expansion extravaganza that I did with Matthew, we talked quite a bit about the A's and then just expansion, relocation, and stuff in general. But I do have a picture of it on the video stream there. So, or just Google it. But gotta plug our own episode. So, Yeah, no, it's a really nice looking stadium. But there is a lot of dialogue around Oakland between all the unions, the city, the taxpayers, the team, the environmental agencies, pretty much everyone who could have their hands in a project has their hands in this project, which sounds like a bad thing, but as big as this is, there's a lot of stuff that just reading through some of these articles today, I I would not have thought of most of this stuff. So I guess, do you want to give us kind of just a quick rundown of what the proposal is? And then we could kind of dive into, I guess, some of the issues and what may come up. And
Yeah, so the big thing is that the A's have said that they will be privately funding the stadium, which is estimated at a cost of $1 billion. They are asking for 855 million in public funding for the roads, sidewalks, utilities, environmental remediation, earthquake, sea level protections, um, and the idea, or I guess the reason they're using as a justification for this project is that they're claiming that it will add 6,000 permanent jobs and $7.3 billion in increased economic output over a 10-year span if the stadium and the entire project is completed. So that's one of the big keys because there is no um, guarantee at this
and
point, or there's it's a non-binding agreement that all the projects will be completed, and if they're not, then the the taxpayers are really not going to be happy with the results.
yeah, and so one, I believe that return on investment is over a 45-year period, if I remember correctly, is what it's calculated out over. So really, it's not that great per year. Um, but it is assuming that the entire project is done, and the only thing that they're bound to is the stadium itself. Other than that, they could build the stadium, open it, have all this nice road work, sewers, everything out there for a really nice complex, and then it turned into nothing. And if anyone's ever been to Springfield, Illinois, there's a Shields All Sport there, out at I think it's Legacy Point on kind of down off I-72, and Shields was the anchor, and then they have all this nice road work. They were going to build a outlet mall and some hotels and restaurants and all that stuff. Well, Shields was built and like two restaurants, and then nothing else happened with that area. So now there's a whole bunch of nice road work, a lot of money put into it, this one nice building, but there's nothing there to draw anyone there. And so it's one of those things that if it doesn't go, it's a big waste of taxpayer money because they will put in a 1.5-mile long TIF district in Oakland. So basically, a majority of downtown is going to be all in this TIF district financing the stadium because of how much money they need. So all of the money raised on the sales taxes and everything in that area is going to be going specifically to that stadium and not to the other projects in Oakland that it could have gone to. So there's a lot of
That's a great way to put it. And for a recent example in the sports world was the Detroit Pistons and Red Wings combined stadium, which is sort of similar in that it's a like a multi-use. It was supposed to be kind of a multi-use space, but at this time in Detroit, there's a lot more parking lots than were initially anticipated, and I know a lot of people in the Detroit area are not super happy with the way that project was carried out, and seeing that happen again in Oakland would not be great because Detroit was basically bankrupt when they were funding that stadium, and I don't think it created the boom that it was supposed to.
yeah, the it doesn't tend to actually have as big a return on investment in the long run as the proponents initially say it will. So, like in St. Louis, they're still paying off the Edward Jones Dome. The Rams are no longer in St. Louis, and the city is still paying off the dome. And
Yeah.
so they're not getting any extra money from games being played there because no one plays there. It's just now the convention center at America Center is what that's called now. So it's one of those that, yeah, the Oakland's probably not going to move away for a while if they get the stadium, especially if they build the stadium themselves. But it's one of those that if the city puts that much money into it and the entire thing doesn't come together, they're losing a bunch of money. And even if the whole thing does come together, the money that they're projected to make, when you factor for inflation, the fact that it's measured over a 45-year period, it's really not that great a deal for the city.
But it is a great deal for the owner of the A's, John Fisher, who
Yes, it is.
could potentially sell the team, and he's, making a huge amount of profit on just having a brand new stadium that goes into that valuation of the team. And just for a little bit more information on that stadium, it wouldn't even be ready until 2027. The current stadium, the Ring Central Coliseum, I believe it's called.
Is
now.
that what they're calling it this year?
They change it every year, it seems.
Yeah, because no one wants to sponsor
those guys. Yeah, and the lease there ends in 2024, so they'd have to get some sort of extension with the place they play. And the one thing that I do agree with the A's and kind of MLB, who's sort of pushing for the A's as well, is that the stadium itself is not really fit for a major league team at this time. It's not very 21st century.
It's not really fit for any professional sports franchise at this point.
And it wasn't
we
even
could have
supposed to be
gladiator
a baseball stadium. Yeah, exactly.
We could have gladiator fights, but no, like I definitely. So I'm coming at this from a financial standpoint, saying it's probably not the best thing for the city, but also not doing it is a terrible thing for the team. And if the team doesn't get a new stadium, they will move. So it's one of those that the city's going to end up paying something. I know with the $855 million, the mayor, I can't think of her name, Libby, something or other. But anyway, she rebutted that the 855 is like at the 99th percentile of cost for all of the things that's built into that compared to other things or to similar projects in the U.S. The closest of which is the Hollywood Park kind of redo for the LA Rams and LA Chargers in that stadium. Right now, SoFi Stadium is built. They're starting to build out the rest of the area. So it's pretty much a perfect foil for this situation, except for Hollywood Park was kind of out there in Inglewood, nowhere near the downtown area, not near a shipping port that would... There's other things I'll get to in a minute with regards to that. But
yeah, I actually have the quote here from Oakland Mayor Libby Schaaf saying, hell no, we won't let them go. Also, working on bringing them a financial plan that we believe they can support. We are looking to do that before the end of July. So that big vote is scheduled for July 20th with the Oakland City Council voting on that stadium proposal.
Yeah, and that's before essentially the summer break of the council. So if it's not done by that date, it's not getting done until their next legislative session. I don't know what they call it in Oakland, but so it'll be a while if it doesn't get done by July, at which point I'm going to guess Major League Baseball starts pushing a little harder to look into Portland and Vegas. I think those were initially just trying to twist their arm a little bit and get a little bit more money from the city, which is a good tactic by MLB to get what they want. Not going to lie. It would probably light a fire under my butt.
I just wanted to comment one thing on what MLB actually said. So they said in their statement, the Oakland Coliseum site is not a viable option for the future vision of baseball. And I would say I strongly disagree with that because I agree the stadium doesn't meet the standards of a big league park in 2021, but the site itself, there's no issue with it. So creating a new stadium or completely remodeling the current stadium, I think are other options that need to be considered.
So I agree with you. I honestly think rebuilding on the exact side of the Coliseum is the best for everyone involved. The reason MLB doesn't want to do that is they've seen successes or the success of like Ballpark Village in St. Louis, and I think there's a similar thing that they're building around SunTrust, Truist Park out in Atlanta. I think they're building out a similar mixed use area. There's a whole bunch of stadiums that have been going to this, and those areas are owned by the team. So it's inflating the value of the team because it's no longer just a baseball team. It's owning an entire area of the city essentially.
Yeah, that is absolutely the key to it, and it shows you kind of where MLB's priorities are. It's not really about baseball; it's about everything that goes along with it, and all the money it's going to create for the team in the league. So
exactly. And if teams were to put that money back, if the owners of the teams were to put that money back into the rosters and just keep improving the product that way, I might be more for it. But owners have kind of showed they're really, really cheap.
Specifically, John Fisher with the Oakland A's, one of the lowest payroll clubs in the entire league.
Yet he's just going to casually drop $12 billion to build this thing? No.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Yeah, I don't get it. But, yeah, so I guess the other things against the waterfront park, which the pictures of it from the renderings would be gorgeous. I'm not going to lie. It would be amazing to watch a game there. But there's a lot of issues with kind of the environmental impact, some of the impact to the port there, because the site that they're looking at is the staging area for all the trucks that then take all the things from the port and ship them everywhere else. So if you get rid of this large area that is, the A's are saying is just a large parking lot, it's not a large parking lot. It is like the main source of getting things put on trucks and then shipped out. If you move that, where are they going to do that? There's nowhere else in the area. There's no other large parking lots that are just empty. So you're kind of impacting the port there. And the heaviest pollution area in Oakland is just north of that. And the wind tends to blow south. So it would be blowing all of the heaviest pollution in the city directly at the stadium. So yeah, I don't get it. I'm curious to see what happens on the 20th.
Yeah, so that's definitely one date to watch, and personally I think the A's are kind of trying to make a big deal out of it and just trying to put a lot of pressure on the city to get this done, but ultimately I think it will get done. They will get the new stadium and everything, but hopefully at a lower cost to the city, in my opinion.
Yeah, and honestly, I hope it's at the Coliseum, because if it's not, then they're going to have a big empty parking lot there. So
exactly.
But let's see. Do you have anything else you want to talk about with the stadium, or are you ready to get into some of the rookie hitters for this year?
Yeah, let's get going on that.
All right. So we'll try and go through this pretty quick because we're already 45 minutes into this episode. But basically what I wanted to do was take a look at some of the premier rookies coming into this season. As far as hitters, we already gave the pitchers some love. And some of the kind of guys that came out of nowhere. Your meme Mercedes, if you will. They're just these guys that no one expected. All of a sudden, they're just hot and they're big names. We wanted to look and kind of see now 3 months in, kind of how they're doing and where we think, or who we think the rookie of the year might actually end up being for the American League and National League. So, Gowie, I will give you first shot.
Yeah, so we'll start off with probably the American League favorite for Rookie of the Year right now. We're not going to talk about him a whole lot because we actually did a deep dive on whether some of his work is going to be sustainable, but that's Adolis Garcia of Texas Rangers, and he's got 20 home runs, 135 WRC plus, and has accumulated 2.2 wins above replacement to this point. And he's playing super awesome center field defense. Um, been the best player for the Rangers this year, and uh, he's the clear favorite for the Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, and Adolis, it's he's one of those guys that came out of nowhere this year. 28-year-old rookie. Technically, it's his third appearance in the big leagues. He came up once for the Cardinals, came up once for the Rangers, and then back for the Rangers this year. But he never accumulated more than like 21 plate appearances total, so he still has his rookie status. But yeah, no, he's got a 47.2% hard hit rate. He is pulverizing the baseball this year.
Yes.
It's just impressive to me. Then the other guy who coming into the season was the favorite for Rookie of the Year in the American League was Randy Arozarena. He is part of the 10-10 club. We're going to make this a thing. I'm putting this on you, Gowie, to pull a list of every person in Major League Baseball and Negro League Baseball histories to go 10-10.
I mean, yeah, but 10-10 over 162 is not as impressive as 10-10 through the first half of the season.
Doesn't matter. Yeah,
Okay.
but he's in the 10-10 club for the first half. And let's see. Yeah, he's not really hitting the ball that well as far as like power. It's not nearly what it was in the postseason last year. I think his average is still really good. I think it's just he's not slugging, right?
No, he's got the 10 home runs, 11 steals, like we said, and
yeah, but
obviously he's not going to hit the way he did last postseason, where he broke the record for most home runs in a postseason. But he's still a really solid player, and I feel like he still has some room to grow, because it's not like he has a whole lot of big league experience.
Yeah. So his slugging percentage for the year is .421, which is pretty low for a guy that has 10 home runs at this point, I think.
Yeah.
But he's either singling or hitting his 10 home runs. And the home runs have been recent. Like I think he's kind of got a little hot recently, because he started out the year pretty slow, where he was just hitting single. Let's see. He had a week where he had 3 home runs a week and a half ago. So yeah, so he's starting to catch fire. So he's still a guy to look at as a potential candidate for Rookie of the Year. But and so the other thing with Randy is his OBP is pretty high. He's relatively fast. Well, pretty fast. He's got 11 steals.
He's really fast, yeah.
But he's got a 9.3% walk percentage to go with his 27% K percentage. So ideally he would strike out less, but that's acceptable for as much as he walks. And his OBP for the year is actually 345. So he's a valuable bat. He just hasn't found the power he had last year.
Right. Yep. Next guy on the list, we got Akil Baddoo.
Farmhand.
Detroit Tigers. And he's a really special case because he's a Rule 5 pick from Minnesota, which is especially great for Detroit because it's right within the division there. And he's a guy that most recently played at High A in 2019, and he only played, I think, 20 games or so there before he had a season-ending injury. This year, he makes the team out of spring training, and here he is near the end of June with a 276 batting average, 372 OBP, 491 slug with 5 home runs and 9 steals. So, again, he's a guy with some power and speed. I did notice that he's had very little exposure to left-handed pitching, and when he has faced it, he's been struggling a lot. So I'm guessing that'll be something that they give him a little bit more exposure to in the second half. But he looks like he could be a piece of the Tigers' core as a 22-year-old. He's really holding his own in the big leagues.
Yeah, I've been pretty impressed with Akil Baddoo. He's another one of those guys that, I mean, obviously being a Rule 5 pick, just kind of came out of nowhere. Took the world by storm, and he's making the most of it. So switching over to the National League a little bit here. Jonathan India took I believe the opening day second base spot for the Cincinnati Reds. He is a natural shortstop, and this is his first time playing second base at, I think, any level, isn't it? Not just
any
big
level.
Leagues?
He was drafted as a third baseman and played some shortstop, I think, but never had played second before this season, and here he is playing in the major leagues.
And defensively, his statistics are not that great. He's got -4 outs above average, which is the third worst among second basemen. But Jonathan India has always been bat first. I think he's a good defender at his natural position. I think he's just struggling to transition over to short or to second is the thing. But his bat is definitely there. He's got a 116 WRC plus, 6 home runs, 6 steals. He's walking at 12%. He's only striking out at 20%. He was the 5th overall pick in 2018, so he was a college pick. So this is about the time you would expect him to be coming up. And he's doing a lot better than I thought he would. Not gonna lie.
For a guy that he didn't really have stellar minor league numbers, so a lot of people were down on him as a prospect.
And part of that is that he had a big wrist injury for a year. So he hurt his wrist real early, and then he kept playing through it. And so when he did that, he didn't have any power. His exit velocity was down so much that he couldn't get a ball out of the infield. So now that he's fully healed up, it was expected, and it's kind of showed up that he can play with the big boys. So it's nice to see him back from injury and being a productive player. Even though his power isn't eye-popping, he's still a really valuable player to that team. So
yeah, for me, it feels like he's going to be a guy that is going to be in the big leagues for like 10 plus years. He's just going to be a solid player the whole way through.
Yeah, ideally I want to see him move to short, Nick Senzel come into second, and then Eugenio back at third. That's my ideal for the Reds. But all right, who you got next?
Next one is Jazz Chisholm, who we've talked about plenty of times on this show.
Love his hair.
But yeah,
Jazz,
awesome hair,
Jazz
awesome personality.
In the City Connect jerseys looks fire.
Fire, yeah. And his play is fire too. 117 WRC plus. He's got 9 home runs. Still strikes out a ton, 31%, which is something he showed in the minors as well. But he's got 10 steals and plays really good defense. He actually has some of the same traits as like a Javier Baez. So he's never really going to hit for like a lot of batting average, but he's got a lot of power and speed and defense, and it's going to make him a very exciting player to watch.
Yeah, and he's got the personality of Javi Baez. So there's that too. Yeah, the one thing with Jazz Chisholm that kind of concerns me a little bit is a lot of his peripherals are suggesting that his 257, 322, 451 slash line is actually a bit inflated over what it should be. I think his expected average is something like 222. His BABIP is up at 346, so you'd expect that his average to come down just a little bit from that, because that BABIP's a bit high. Not insane, but a bit high. So yeah, and there was a lot of questions about if Jazz Chisholm is actually ready for big league pitchers or not. So that kind of plays right into the whole is he, isn't he kind of thing that people have been concerned about early on in the season. Not so much recently, since he's just been really fun to watch. But yeah. Next we got my boy, 22-year-old Dylan Carlson. So Dylan Carlson was, I think, probably the heavy favorite for NL Rookie of the Year as far as hitters were concerned, right? I think maybe 6-0 was like the favorite for pitchers.
Yeah, Carlson was definitely one of the main guys because he was guaranteed that playing time, while many of the rookies not really sure if they were going to share the job or whatever.
Yeah,
but
and right off the bat this season, Carlson was living up to the hype as far as Rookie of the Year. He was leading basically every category he could. He's since then fallen off a little bit from the rookie lead, but on the Cardinals team, which I mentioned earlier, has been struggling a lot at the plate. He's actually moved up in the order from 6th to 2nd to now he's leading off. His slash line is 265, 350, 408. Carlson has 7 home runs, which power is one of the big things in Carlson's game, and his power stroke is not really there yet. His OBP is really good, which is why he's moved up in the order, and he's starting to see that power come around a little bit. So with only a 24% K percentage and then walking at a 10.5% rate, I kind of expect him, as soon as he starts finding his power a little bit more, getting more doubles. He just hit a triple about, 5 minutes ago to give the Cardinals the lead here. As soon as he starts getting more extra base hits, you'll start seeing his slugging go up and his WRC plus will go up as well. And I kind of expect his home runs to follow. He's just getting a little bit more used to hitting the off speed in the big league level, which is kind of where he's struggling a lot. Defensively, he's not great at center. He really needs to go back to a corner position. He'll go to right field when Bader returns, but I think long term he's a left fielder. And I kind of wish that they would swap O'Neill to right and Carlson to left, but I don't make the decisions. So, oh well.
Yeah, he's coming along a bit slower than I think most people expected, and one thing is
I think that most people hoped.
Yeah, but
not so much
he was
that they
also
expected.
There was pretty high expectations for him when he came up.
Well, yeah.
But. And one other thing is that his doesn't seem like the running game is really going to be a big part of his skill set. He hasn't stolen a base this year. He had 18 steals at Double-A in 19, so I was kind of hoping that he would be running a little bit more, but he's not super fast.
Yeah,
so.
I was going to say, he's never been a fast player. He never really stole in the minors either, so that's not really a big shock to me. Did he?
He had 18 steals at Double-A in 19.
Yeah,
so
it's
I
also
he
Double-A.
Run a bit more. Still.
So you would expect it to go down from that, but yeah. Let's see, who you got next?
Okay, so this guy was probably top of the list of Rookie of the Year candidates coming into the year, and that's Ke'Bryan Hayes with the Pirates. He missed most of the season so far. He's only played in 20-something games this year,
I think
but
20,
he's already
23.
He's already 10th in WAR among rookies. So in that short amount of time, he's pretty much picked up right where he left off last year, which was being a really amazing player, actually. And his defense has been basically elite from day one. Yesterday, he made this absurd play where he ranged to his right into foul ground at third base, fields the ball, and he's probably he's like behind the third base coach completely in foul territory and makes his off balance throw to get the runner at first base. It was one of the best plays at third base I've seen in a while.
So I should know, seeing as they were playing the Cardinals, but do you know who the base runner was?
I do. It was Yachty. He was very upset.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I mean,
but he was booking it though.
Yeah.
He wasn't doing it slow. He wasn't doing the slow run. But yeah, Hayes is an amazing player. I think he really hasn't had any struggles in the big leagues at all in his 2 years.
He really hasn't. Just injuries. That's it. His power stroke is not there right now. He's only got 3 home runs this season, but with his frame, what he did in the minors, that's a fluke. His power is coming, and it's gonna come big. I don't think he's gonna be a 50 home run guy, but I think he'll be a 30 home run guy in future seasons. Obviously not this year. Little late for that. But yeah, no, Ke'Bryan Hayes, as much as I don't like to give interdivision players a lot of love, he's really good. He's very Nolan Arenado-esque on the defensive side of the ball, and honestly a little bit on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, they both make a ton of contact, so there is a similarity there, so I like that.
Yeah. So, and they do have that power, but it's not like they're necessarily their premier trait. It's a big part of their game, but it's not their premier trait. But all right, going back to the American League here, okay, I'm gonna say his last name wrong, so you're gonna have to correct me. Taylor Trammell.
Taylor Trammell.
Damn it! I almost said that, and I thought that was the wrong one.
50-50.
Yeah. So Trammell.
Yep.
All right.
Nailed it.
So Trammell made the opening day roster for the Seattle Mariners this year. It was a lot of people thought that it was part of the service time manipulation of Jared Kelenic, and it might have been, might not have been, but he
deserved to make it.
He did earn his spot in spring training, but people were ticked that Kelenic didn't get that spot, and Trammell didn't really make the most of his roster spot there. He was struggling pretty hardcore. He got optioned back down to AAA, where he absolutely raked over in Tacoma. He was recalled, I think, when Kelenic went back down, right?
Yeah.
And he was still struggling. But I think the other day he had 2 home runs, a bat flip, and a game-saving catch in the suspended game against the White Sox. So he did have a really good game, and is showing that he does have the skills to be here. So I think it's just a matter of him putting everything together at the big league level, being able to compete with some of these off-speed pitches, these breaking pitches that you're seeing in the majors that are significantly more intense than in AAA. So I kind of think that's probably where he's struggling. I don't think he's he's an extreme dark horse candidate for Rookie of the Year, especially with half the season being over. Let's just say that.
But, yeah, he's not going to be winning that award, I would say, but still, I like what the Mariners are doing with him and giving him an extended run to, prove that he can be a legit guy, because they did trade for him in 2019, and he's kind of supposed to be one of their core guys, and he has all the physical tools to be able to do it. It's just a matter of putting it together.
Yeah. All right. I think this next guy is one of the guys you were most psyched to see this year, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's Kim Ha-sung, Korean shortstop / third baseman / second baseman now. He was an absolute superstar in Korea in the KBO. He played 7 pro seasons there and was one of the most consistent players I've ever seen. Just year after year, he would hit above 300, around 30 home runs every year, and be right there in the MVP race. So he's only 25, yet he's already has 7 pro seasons under his belt, and he signs with the Padres 4 years, $28 million. So the Padres are really committed to this guy. Like, they didn't give him like a small contract. He's part of their team for a while. Obviously, he can't play shortstop with Tatis, but he's done a nice job filling in there, and he did struggle right out of the gate. Obviously, it's a pretty big curve coming over from Korea straight to MLB. But in June, it seems like he's figuring something out, hitting 281 with a 140 WRC plus. And his teammates love this guy. They're like going crazy when he hits home runs. If you've seen the home run chain that they have in San Diego, they put on every guy that hits a home run, and then it spins. It's got the Padres logo on it. So I think he's starting to become a teammate favorite and a fan favorite for the Padres. So
yeah, I haven't actually watched much of. So is it Kim Ha-sung or Ha-sung Kim?
I always say like Kim Ha-sung, but that's like, I guess, the Korean way to say it. I think people here say Ha-sung Kim.
Okay, so it'd be like Kwon-young Kim is actually Kim Kwon-young.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Yeah, I haven't really watched a whole lot of him, mostly because just being on opposite coasts, it just makes it a little hard to watch Padres games sometimes, as much as I want to. But yeah, no, I kind of want to start watching him a little bit more here, especially with him looking like he's starting to figure it out. So I think I want to give one pitcher some love here, and then what do you say we make our predictions for Rookie of the Years.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so the one pitcher I want to give love to, we gave him love a couple weeks ago. I just think that he's probably up there in Rookie of the Year candidates. So before we make our predictions, I just want to throw his name in the ring. Trevor Rogers for the Miami Marlins is just dominating. He's got to be their ace this year, isn't he?
Yeah, he wasn't supposed to be, but he just ended up being.
But yeah,
that guy.
he's effectively their ace though. He's started 15 games, thrown in 2/3 innings. He's got a 2.08 ERA, backed by a 2.45 FIP, which is really good. His expected ERA and FIP are a bit higher, right around 3, but being right at 3, still really good. I think the average ERA in the majors is somewhere around 3.55.
Probably higher than that.
So.
But yeah, he's not just having a good season for a rookie. He's 7th in ERA in the entire league.
Yeah. And his CSW for 2021 is 31.4 across the whole season. He is dominating hitters. His fastball is fantastic. He's throwing it like 60% of the time or something like that. It's insane. But yeah, so I just wanted to throw his hat in the ring here. There are a lot of other rookies that we did not touch on, mostly for time's sake. So if we missed your favorite rookie, let me know in the comments on YouTube or on Twitch here, or tweet at me and tell me you're angry, and then we'll correct that in a future episode. But all right, so let's start with the American League, Gowie. Who is your Rookie of the Year?
I think it'll have to be Adolis Garcia. After Mercedes cooled down very much so in May and June, I think Garcia is really running away with this, and I don't know who can catch him.
Yeah,
you let me know.
I'm there with you. I think the one guy who could catch him, but not likely, is Randy. If Randy finds his power stroke, Randy can catch Adolis.
Yeah, that's a good point. If Randy turns into 2020 postseason Randy, then you better watch out, Garcia.
Yeah. But other than that, I don't see anyone else catching Adolis, unless he gets hurt and misses the rest of the season. Because, I mean, we've seen that happen before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, that's where, in the National League, for me, we start getting a little bit, who's going to win it? Because in the National League, my initial thought is Ke'Bryan Hayes. Even though he's only played 23 games, if he can manage to be healthy the rest of the season and keeps this up, I think he's got it. But with only 23 games under his belt this year, I don't feel comfortable saying he's going to keep up what he's doing so far. And until he starts having that power stroke come through, I feel more comfortable saying Dylan Carlson, but even Carlson's not doing that great. So that's actually why I mentioned Trevor Rogers, because Trevor Rogers has my vote big time for Rookie of the Year in the National League.
Yeah, I like that call. The only thing that I'm just looking here now, so Rogers, like you said, he's at 86.2 innings pitched. As a pro, he's never pitched more than 110. So that makes me think that maybe
they're going to
the Marlins may shut him down if they're out of it, or maybe limit his innings. So that could hurt his Rookie of the Year candidacy. But performance-wise, I think he's the choice.
Yeah. So I guess maybe my pick is Dylan Carlson with a double asterisk. And my double asterisk is if Trevor Rogers is shut down, is 1. And then 2 is if Ke'Bryan Hayes gets hurt again.
Yeah.
Because I love Dylan, and he's going to be a great player. And I honestly hope that he pops off and gets Rookie of the Year, because, I mean, that'd just be really cool for me. But there's some really good rookies this year. So I would not be shocked to see it. I wouldn't even be shocked to see a dark horse candidate come out of nowhere. Joe Adell come back to the big leagues and then just go on a tear and be more dominant in the second half than.
There's always guys that are going to be coming up in the second half, or just to fill injuries, or just because they deserve the promotion. There's so many good young players in the game right now, and there's going to be more later this season.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, let us know your thoughts on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube comments. With regards to the Rookie of the Year, please don't be mean to Gautam. He's very sensitive.
Yes. I cry.
Yep. Every night.
Every night.
He cries because Matthew has never left him a YouTube comment. Nope, no response to that. Yeah, so I guess you heard it here first. Adolis Garcia and Dylan Carlson with double asterisks for Rookie of the Year. So that's all we've got for tonight. So we will get this episode uploaded to Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, anywhere else that you listen to podcasts. We will be uploaded we'll upload it tonight. When they actually put it up, I don't know. So if it's not on Apple tomorrow, don't shoot the messenger.
It'll be there soon.
It'll be there soon. If you want more baseball content throughout the week, if you like kind of our thoughts, we're trying to remember to stay active on Twitter throughout the week. We did a little bit of a bad job last week, but I was on vacation, so I'll take the blame there. Yeah, so follow us on Twitter at Getaway Day Pod, on Facebook at Getaway Day Podcast. Follow us here on our Twitch to get notifications when we go live to either record a new episode or open new baseball cards, which I tend to do on here a lot. And just a heads up, I may or may not have just won or been selected in the raffle for Bowman Sapphire today. So we may have a box of Bowman Sapphire coming soon in 5 to 15 days shipping time. So keep an eye out for that. And then let's see. Oh, yep. And then we do have the giveaway that is currently going on our Twitter and Facebook pages. So go find that. All you got to do is like the page on either Twitter or Facebook, or both. If you want to enter twice, you can enter twice by doing it on both. So like us on that page, find the post that has the giveaway information, and then all you got to do is reply or comment on that post with your favorite team and your favorite player. Doesn't have to be your favorite player on your favorite team. You could have Jimmy Rollins as your favorite player if you're an Indians fan. I'm cool with that. I actually respect that a lot. Am I forgetting anything, Gowie?
I think you got it all covered.
All right, cool. So thank you very much for joining us tonight. We will be back here again next week, same time, 8:30 Eastern on Twitch. And until then, keep watching baseball. Keep interacting with us on Twitter to let us know what you want to hear in future episodes. So thank you very much and have a great night.
Bye.